Wednesday, January 5th. Around noontime. Beautiful day out. And I was going to show you the greenhouses and what we've been doing. We've had a few days of minus 13. And then like minus 6 or 8. Last night it was 6. This morning was 6 degrees. So I'll bring you into this greenhouse and show you what we're doing. First, you can see we keep the front clear. And to sew it up a little this year, we put some additional screws on the front end there. It was getting a little drafty, but we try to keep the snow off of that. And what happened the other night, it snowed for a few days, so not a lot of sun got in. It was the first time ever in 4 years that we had a little ice form in here. But this greenhouse is a geothermal greenhouse, and we'll tell you why. So let's go inside. So it's 89 degrees in here. And we have lots of thermal mass. We've got hundreds of gallons of water, which is keeping the temperature around 32 degrees. You can see the low was 32. It usually doesn't get lower than that. It stays at 32. And if you have enough water in your greenhouse, that will be your low temperature, even if it's minus 20. So if you were in here last week, we had tomatoes to the ceiling all dead because they froze. Once it gets 32, tomatoes die. So what we do is we chop and drop all of it down. And just let it sit. We got some parsleys coming up. Still got some shards growing in here. Obviously this beautiful rosemary that was flowering. More chop and drop. Everything chop and drop. And what Alan's been doing is getting some of this mint out here. Every year the mint takes over everything. So we got to pull out tons of the mint root system. And we can then plant it outside or do whatever we want with it. You can see all that in here. And chop and drop. So not a lot growing right now, just a little bit of kale there. We're just working on getting the next phase going here. So we got some garlics in here, it looks like. And that's the lower greenhouse. Snapdragons go all year next to the water. We also have a solar system in here and some climate battery where there's tubes underground. And the fan is currently not on, so I don't know why. So we got to check out what's going on there. Typically a wiring issue, but that's the state of the lower geothermal greenhouse. In transition, and we'll be planting this in a little bit with some winter or spring veg. So stay tuned. Come on, let's go. So we'll go up to the earth tube heated geothermal greenhouse. We haven't turned the earth tubes on this winter because the cistern isn't filled and the system isn't set up. But springtime, we should be going full bore. Alcor. Okay, so let's go inside. Well, it took a while for the camera to acclimatize, but this greenhouse is broken into 2 sections. We got a lot of water in here. Really not as much as I'd like, but there's about 200, 300, 400 gallons in here. You can see we're growing a little bit of wheatgrass there. Some more fodder for our chickens. And we've got wheat and barley. More wheat, barley. This is mustard. So we can eat that. Humans can eat this too. Oh yeah. Real spicy. Pushing some bulbs. We got some tropical, subtropical plants in here that we're sampling with, but this Meyer lemon just dropped some leaves because we're getting pretty cold in here. Here's a gardenia, pineapple, trying to grow on top of a pineapple there, banana back there, 2 more citrus, a lime, and an orange. It's a guava, but most things aren't doing as well as we'd like. Some of these are a year old and they're just dying away. Olive trees are doing okay. So one thing we're doing, you can see most of the tomatoes have died off. Oh, and I'll show you why. Because it's getting so cold in here. Yeah, it got down to 32. And right now it's a 73-ish. But we do still have some tomatoes. Our subtropical succulents are for the most part not dead. Getting down to that temperature. Albeit it might be a little warmer on this back wall. But all an experiment. This is the first year. And the tomatoes keep getting smaller and smaller and smaller. But they're so delicious. So these are normally much larger than that. See some bigger ones in here. But we're still getting fruit production. There's a big one. There you go. And the closer you get to the water, the greener the tomatoes still are. You can see how tiny some of these are getting. Still delicious though. We just installed this pretty cool table to have lunch or whatever on. It's thermal mass underneath. So that's pretty cool. Oh yeah. Whoops. So this tomato's pretty much dead, but it's still producing fruit we can eat. The kales obviously don't care about it in here at that cold temperature. They're doing good. But we're about to chop and drop all this shortly as soon as we can't get any more tomatoes to eat in here. But in the meantime, oh yeah, I keep dropping them on the ground. And the closer you get to the water, look at these little minis. Like little mini grapes. So that's the state of the upper greenhouse. And next year it should be fully functioning with the earth tubes blowing, the aquaponic systems finished and complete. They're just sitting here right now. I mean, I could finish that today, but busy. I might even work on that for the halibut. But real easy to grow fodder in this greenhouse, which is probably a zone 9, 10, maybe even 11 right now. And we like to get it up to zone 12. We were using supplemental heat, but that's just not economical unless you want to pay $3 a day to heat your greenhouse. So like, share, subscribe, and boom, we love you. Look at these sprouts, man, they're amazing.